The amount of messages I get off young lads saying, I've been training for 6 weeks, I want to get massive, what should I start doing, what should I do this? I'm like, learn to eat, learn to lift weights first, because you're just going to fuck yourself up, and it is scary. Testosterone replacement therapy, in the next 5 years, it will be the main treatment for men. I've got clients that are below the age of 30 that have got clinically low testosterone levels, and it is just profound, the improvements that they get in all the health markers. Less chance of depression, better sleep, better libido, better relationships, divorces are going down, all-cause mortality is dropping. The main questions I get are, what can I take to do this? And my initial response is, shut the fuck up, I guarantee your food is shit, I guarantee your training is shit, let's focus on that first.
It's so simple to solve, but we're looking for a plaster to go over it to kind of make us go, oh yeah, it's fine, I can take this and I'll be fine. Like the placebo effect is basically what it is at the end of the day.
Welcome back to the PerformWell Podcast. This is the podcast for you if you're looking for performance and wellness optimization so that you can not only smash your career, but also have a better life, better relationships, and better health. We believe that performance and wellness are yin and yang and work together. So listen in as we dive into topics that are going to help you optimize your life for the better. Welcome back, guys, to another episode. We got Craig. This is an ex-paramedic, by the way, and current online fitness coach, and as you can tell, massive bodybuilder. Makes me and Dan look tiny. How are we doing, man?
Very good, mate. How are you?
Yeah, good. I mean, it's always funny when we do this because we've just chatted for the last half an hour and now we're just pretending that we're meeting for the first time. I'm good.
Yeah, I'm doing mighty fine as well.
Beautiful.
We're going to deep dive into some topic areas today, mate. And we want to kind of find out a little bit about yourself, your journey as well. Because I recall you being in the Daily Echo, weren't you? For going from being a paramedic to then going into your fitness career. Can you talk a little bit on that?
Yeah, I mean, the Echo, that was a bit of a surprise, to be fair. You know, I'd gone from being a paramedic, doing quite a few jobs in that role. And then, I mean, the main reason why I became a paramedic is because I wanted to help people. You know, the cliche, I want to help people and make a difference. And when you realise you're not actually doing that by being a paramedic, when then I started dipping my toe into online coaching, and you think, well, actually, I'm making a bigger difference by doing this. And it's so cliche, it's unreal, but it was the genuine reason. So, you know, you go to a paramedic, you go to a diabetic as a paramedic, you can't really do anything apart from treat the symptoms. You know, you're not reversing the diabetes, you're not preventing anything from happening. Whereas, you know, as you guys know, when you're a coach, you're a PT, you're reversing obesity, you're preventing diabetes from happening in the first place. And that's what they picked up on a reel. So then they got in touch, had a little interview, and yeah, the rest is history. It was honouring to be picked up on social media like that, just for like that pretty boring message. You know, it's not like sexy message, but someone picked up on it. So yeah, it was good.
How long were you a paramedic for?
14 years.
So through COVID as well?
Through COVID. COVID was actually the time that I was going part-time. So before COVID, I'd already made the decision to go part-time as a online coach, reduce my hours as a paramedic, went on my honeymoon. And then the day that we came back, that's when lockdown happened. So we arrived back from Maldives, had 10 days in the Maldives, all of this shit's kicking off back at home. And then boom, we're in lockdown. So then I start working or continue working as a paramedic, but in lockdown. And I'll be honest, it was the best time to be a paramedic because we did fuck all. It was not a busy time. It was probably...
I would have thought it would be the opposite. Is that because you're not getting called out to jobs? Is that what? Right. Oh.
The amount of times I was on base and I just slept the whole 12 hours.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't necessarily the COVID patients that weren't calling in. They were still calling in, but it was all the other dickheads that didn't call in because they thought they were going to get COVID. So the pissheads... the people that have got a poorly toe, people that have stubbed the finger or whatever, they're just not calling in anymore. So it was a bit of an eye-opener to most people that actually what the fuck are we going to on a daily basis?
Yeah.
Where we just sat around doing nothing.
I feel like one of the questions you probably get asked a lot, what was your worst job as a paramedic? Like worst in terms of what you walked in and saw?
I mean... It's whether you look at it as the worst or the best.
Okay.
You know, one of the roles I did within the paramedic practice was I worked for an organisation called Heart, and it was paramedics can't go into hazardous areas typically. You can't go into those like danger zones, but every area now has a HART team, so a hazardous area response team. So I did that for 5 years. You get extra training. You can go into like smoke-filled rooms. You can do water rescue, rope rescue, things like that. And probably the worst job I've ever been on was a big multi-story building that got blew up for an insurance job. Alleged insurance job.
You mean Twin Towers?
It was not the Twin Towers, no.
Sorry.
Unfortunately
Something
not.
else, my bad.
No, I was not one of those heroes there. But it was in Leicester, and someone had allegedly blew up a building, 3-4 floors, all came down with people inside, and then the 2 buildings either side were still standing. But we knew people were in there, and because we're trained in urban search and rescue, we was on the rubble pile, digging away, trying to find people, see if they survived or not. And that was horrific because you knew you were just going to be pulling out dead bodies at that point, or bodies that had been burnt, so that was pretty tough.
Yeah.
But it was what you wanted to do because you trained to do it. So yeah, we'll start the podcast.
So what got you sucked?
That's perfect.
So what got you sucked into being a paramedic? Was it the idea of helping people, or was it like the difference in job compared to other jobs out there? Like, what was the thing that drew you to that, knowing what you're going to see?
Yeah, well, how we ran up to it was I was actually working a little bit as a lifeguard. So I'd just done my lifeguard training. You do your first aid and you do this, you do that. You're like, if something happens, I want to be the person to be able to save that person, the whole hero card. And the day I started working as a lifeguard, I was driving down the motorway and right in front of me, a lorry pulled in front of a car, or a car pulled in front of the lorry, I can't remember. And the car flipped off the motorway, and you see it slow motion in front of your eyes, like a Fast and Furious scene or whatever. So I pulled over, didn't have a fucking clue what I was going to do, and then in this ditch was a couple of grandparents and their kids, and upside down in the car. So it was just one of those moments where you just do what you could, no first aid kit or whatever. So you're getting the kids out, getting the grandparents out, and did absolutely nothing. No, you didn't put a plaster on, you didn't do anything. But when all the emergency services turned up, and then you see what they're doing to actually help them, you're like, oh fuck me, that's all right. So that's when I then started moving into the paramedic world.
Blimey.
Damn,
Kind of like a vigilante then, to start with, coming and saving people even before the emergency service got there.
Honestly, you can't really make it up. Whenever going into an interview, or when I used to go into interviews as a paramedic, that's what I would open up with. And people think you're making that shit up. Like, nah, it's just trying to fluff us up a little bit. But yeah, it was legit. And it was just one of those kind of life-changing moments, really.
I mean, lucky you're there, mate. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you didn't help them in that small amount of way, then who knows what would have happened?
I think most people would do the same thing.
Yeah.
Genuinely, hand on heart. Like, unless if you go downtown and someone's being beaten up and it's bad, and you think it's not a couple of druggies just having a bit of a tiff, you're probably going to do something about it, or granny falls
Have you seen
over.
that social experiment? There's been a few of them, but I think it was in London. There was a person lying on the floor, and they were seeing who would stop by to help, and people would be just walking by for hours, and until someone obviously then came up and stopped. So,
do you think that's because it's the norm to see people just lying on the floor in London?
Probably.
Yeah, that's the thing, yeah.
I mean, to be fair, I am guilty of this. I saw a man lying down on a bench, a park bench in Southampton, but he wasn't lying like he was resting. It was like he was almost passed out. And part of me is thinking, like, should I go check? But then another part of me is like, it's a crackhead. And I don't want to necessarily, like, I don't think it's going to, like, resolve the situation.
Yeah.
So I did walk by, but it's a hard one.
I think it's difficult, and I've not been a paramedic for several years now, but that mentality of don't wake him up, you just end up calling 999, an ambulance turn up, and they won't be able to do anything. It'll just walk off. That's a very cynical view, but truth be told, that's the view that most paramedics have, because you see it on a daily basis. There's such a commonality to see people on the floor not want help, and it's just, you think, is that person going to take an ambulance away from someone having a heart attack? And it's a tough call to make, I think.
So, all right, so I train a doctor, and he tells me that he works in A&E, by the way. He says most of the A&E cases that come in are fitness and gym related. Is that what
Really?
That's what he sees? He sees people doing like stupid stuff in the gym and the fitness world, and they come into A&E and he's sorting them out.
I would love to have a chat with that doctor.
Yeah, I'd love to get your
challenge
opinion
him on that, because
Yeah.
in 14 years, I think I went into a gym for a job once.
Yeah.
I don't know what are people doing to fuck themselves up.
But this is what I thought. I was thinking, wait a second. I mean, I've been a PT 14 years, so I'm thinking I've seen probably 3 or 4 serious issues over 14 years. That's not a lot in the grand scheme.
No.
Yeah.
You know, I've seen people slip a disc on bench press. I've seen people get a heart attack on the treadmill.
Yeah.
21-year-old actually, believe it or not.
Definitely on roids.
Yeah, probably. I mean, what's that guy that died recently? That did cardio. I can't remember.
What one in Southampton?
Joey Svetix.
Joe Stetty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Obviously, but he was on roids.
He was on roids
and
as well, yeah.
Other stuff as well.
Oh,
Like,
huge amount of everything.
there's a lot of young people that are on steroids. I'm not saying steroids are necessarily the cause of everything, but like they're abusing it, and I think that's a level where people are not educated enough on.
Yeah, 100%. And I try to talk about this a lot in my lives. My standpoint is, look, if you're going to do it, you're going to fucking do it. But let's do it in the safest way possible. You know, you're not going to tell 15-year-old boy that's going out with his mates, don't drink, okay? And then go out and get smashed. You know, just don't be a dick. Don't be a dick with it, and use it responsibly. Whilst steroids aren't safe, you know, there can be safer ways of doing them. I think when you see these horror stories online, a lot of the people that you see that he's had a heart attack, done this, bodybuilders at that level, especially social media, you know, those influencers, they're not just doing steroids. They're doing a lot of cocaine. They're partying hard. Their, you know, mental health is shot. You know, and I'd love to see any kind of data to say that it was steroids alone when people die. You know, Rich Piano, who's one of the most well-known steroid users, he did so much cocaine, you know. So, yeah, it's always that balance of what actually caused it. But
Yeah. I mean, Rich Piano, he's a special one in the sense that you could tell he was on a lot of stuff.
Oh, he openly spoke about it.
Yeah.
He used a lot of gear.
The voice, the way he like looked at you intensely, and the way he like did 7-hour arm workouts and stuff like that. It's like you tell this man is not right.
He was built like a bull.
Yeah.
He was a
Literally.
bull just walking around, wasn't he?
He's probably taking myostatin inhibitors, the everything, mate.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
absolutely.
That's crazy.
But do you think once you start on one thing, it leads to kind of everything else? So, like, once you've given, I don't know, Tren a go, you'll give something else a go, and then kind of roll down that line and just try things, because we see it across social media. There's so many youngsters, I'm talking even sub 20, who are picking it up and giving it a go. But, like, why do they do this? Like, what is the reasoning?
I think there's so many reasons. You know, you've got that social expectation of looking a certain way, social media. The mates have done it, so I'm going to do it. And when people do things ill-informed and they don't understand the risks, I think they're more likely to do it.
Okay.
Because they think it's safe. You know, I'm going to take Anavar because it's just a pill because my mate took it and he's fine. You know, well, no, let's have a little bit of a deep dive into what the risks are. The amount of messages I get off young lads saying, I've been training for 6 weeks, I want to get massive, what should I start doing, what should I do this? I was like, motherfucker, learn to eat, learn to lift weights first, because you're just going to fuck yourself up. You know, and it is scary. There's a gym very local to here, and I know there is a group of lads, they're all below the age of 21, and they are smashing multiple compounds to, you know, pro bodybuilder level of dosages, and you think, for what? You look shit. You look shit because you don't train, you don't eat, and you're out partying all the time. I just want to grab them and wrap a dumbbell around the head.
That's the worst one. When I took Tren, no one was asking me if I was on steroids. That's the worst. That's the worst thing, because
It's
you're
really
like,
nice that you're staying natty, mate.
Yeah, you're looking natty, mate. Nice. And I was like, cool, cheers, man. But you know, I was fortunate to not want to do anything after that. Tren was a bad experience in terms of, like, yeah, you felt amazing in some aspects. The recovery was insane, but you also had the negative effects, especially at the end of the cycle as well. like massive crash of testosterone, estrogen flying through the roof, super emotional, everything, getting really frustrated, and then almost tore my tendon. Like obviously the increase in strength is dramatic. The tendons don't have the capacity to be able to handle it. So my tendon nearly like ripped off my bone. So yeah, it's a horrible thing. And also, like I've told you before this podcast, like military and wanting to be cardio fit, I've definitely felt a difference in the way my heart works and operates during that time and after, and I didn't like that feeling.
Okay.
Like it felt more sluggish. It felt thicker. It might have been this fact that I was bigger and I'm obviously processing a lot more blood around the body, but it wasn't a good feeling overall in terms of health. And I don't think anyone should be doing it, at least unless you're at the pro level of bodybuilding. You're pushing the boundaries. You're competing against other people doing it, and you've got all the doctors in place to make sure that it's as safe as possible.
Yeah, like, I think there's definitely levels, I think, so if you look at the base level of steroid use, I think testosterone replacement therapy is going to be the biggest treatment for men. In the next 5 years, it will be the main treatment for men. Men, I've got clients that are below the age of 30 that have got clinically low testosterone levels, and it is just profound, the improvements that they get in all the health markers. And when we look at the data from America, where TRT, you just pay for it, so they've got the most data, people are just getting healthier. Less chance of depression, better sleep, better libido, better relationships, divorces are going down, better relationships with children. They see that like all-cause mortality is dropping because they're keeping the testosterone levels in check, similar to women. HRT and hormone replacement therapy, it's come on leaps and bounds with women. And I think it will be the same for men. The benefits of that is it's so much simpler to treat men than it is women. He's literally do this and this and you'll be good.
And also women, a lot of women on contraception, men don't tend to have the issue of contraception, so their hormones are already being messed with. They're basically on HRT since they were like 16.
Yeah. We had Gemma on, didn't she? She was talking about do you know Gemma Paddy at all?
No.
She was speaking about HRT. Really good conversation regarding that. So it's great you're bringing this up, because I think it's something that people don't understand to this day. And people are like, I don't need TRT. TRT's like a steroid and blah blah blah, and they start going out the window with it. We get the emotional side of it. I know James Smith has started endorsing TRT. He's been on it for I think a year or so now. And he's working with a company called Men's Manual, not sponsored. And they're starting to talk more about this, and I think it is so important. Like, I've got some clients that I train, and one of them made a joke the other day. He turned around and he was like, "Oh yeah, my mate, he's got the testosterone, but he's lost the hair. But I haven't got the testosterone, but that's pretty much it. That's where he lies. He just hasn't got the level of testosterone."
Correct me if I'm wrong here, but with TRT, it's not just a case of they'll inject you with testosterone either. Sometimes they'll test all your markers and say, well, your SHGB is really high, let's decrease that and see what happens. So it's not just testosterone being injected, is it?
No, there's multiple treatments.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not a doctor, this is not like medical advice. There's lots of ways, imagine the body is this like chemistry box. There's lots of things that impact, there's multiple pathways for everything. So yeah, you can look at SHBG, but most of the time the treatment will be testosterone. And if you're going through, so say you go through the NHS, firstly, in my opinion, the NHS is god awful with it because they're so risk averse, and the time to get an initial point with your GP, you're going to be waiting weeks, referral, months, and then they have to go through that treatment protocol where you're probably getting subpar treatment for a long time.
And the definition of like low normal testosterone is really low, from what I've heard as well. They have like a huge range, and you have to be really low. You have
to be off the scale.
Yeah.
Whereas I believe 10 years ago that scale was much higher. So what is classed as normal now would have been off the charts 10 years ago, but naturally male hormones are decreasing through poor health, poor lifestyle, increase in alcohol consumption, not being outdoors.
But the thing is, there's this misconception that testosterone leads to more aggression. And so they think, if we keep testosterone level lower, then there's going to be less men that are aggressive and the world's safer. But is that happening in the world? Do you feel the world's safe at the moment with...
I think men are becoming more aggressive.
Yeah.
Because like if you get that wounded little puppy in the corner that's not confident, they're going to bite more, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
Whereas you get the big dog that's like aggressive or physically dominant, I think they're less likely to bite because they don't need to.
I think it's so important to say that, because people are fearful when people say, oh, X person's on testosterone. X person... Look, you know, you guys have been on gear yourself. You're on gear yourself now. Now, am I right in saying? Or you off? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I just know if you have a look at... I don't know how it works.
Do I look natty?
But I know you don't look natty.
Man, please.
No way, man.
I mean, like, actually taking it physically now, because I know you can, like... You kind of go through phases of taking it, don't you? Or do you can stop, take it again? I'm not very well educated in this area.
You're cruising. Is that what you call it? Cruising?
Yeah, I mean, you can be on anabolics and come off, so you can PCT, post-cycle therapy, or you can just increase and decrease your dosages.
Okay.
Again, I'm not advising people to do either way, but we do tend to find when you look at the literature that it could be beneficial just to stay on. You know, a lot of times people think they need to come off, but you're continuing to start and stop your endocrine system, and that could be more detrimental. Or you could just stay on and just be healthy.
But that's the thing with this, isn't it? Like, as you're saying, the emotive side really comes out in people, and people are scared because they don't have the knowledge. I think the knowledge is so lacking. Like, and what you're saying, I don't understand this. I've never been anywhere near it, you can tell. But I'm more kind of like of the kind of athletic, I would like to go for a long run kind of thing. And I did at one point. I love getting jacked. I love getting bigger. I built my muscle. I was happy. But then I got to a point with my physique where I was like, I don't really see a point in getting any bigger right now. I'm not competing. I'm not going for bodybuilding comps. Marchenna said to me, I think it was last year, she was like, Daniel, you should shred down and do a competition. I'm like, I have not got a fucking interest in doing a comp. Because one, I know there's going to be someone bigger than me there. Yeah. And two, I'm fucking competitive. So if I'm going to a comp, I want to fucking win a comp. And I think you said that about going to comps, didn't you? If you're going to a comp nowadays, you're going there to win that comp. Yeah. It's not just doing it for funsies.
Once you've checked that box, once you're on stage the first time, you think, okay, I can do it, then you want to go and win. And I think the good and the bad thing about bodybuilding is you're there by yourself, so there's no one else to blame, but you've also got no control over who turns up. So you could be in the best shape of your life, but if some mutant turns up and he's shredded, 21, came out his mum's vag, you know, absolutely jacked, you ain't doing anything about that, you know. So bodybuilding is a head fuck in itself, but it's something that people stick with most of the time just because you've never got to boss level. Yeah, you're always on level 1.
That's something that I found. It's a subjective nature of the sport that made me dislike doing it more. I did it twice. The first time, actually, what you said, the first time did it natural, got destroyed, obviously. Then I took training and test because I felt like I needed to win, and then I didn't win still. And then I realised the subjective nature of the sport made me feel bad about myself, because I was like, well, I'm not winning because I don't look attractive enough in my head. That's what I was thinking. I don't obviously look good enough. And then I went down to spiral of just always thinking about how I look, and then I just decided that I didn't get into the bodybuilding side because I wanted to compete. I got it because I wanted to be bigger. I was a skinny kid. I got bullied a lot. When I was in the army, I was very skinny as well. So yes, it's great for terms of cardio, but I still didn't feel confident. So I got into that for confidence. Once I achieved that, I was happy. And that's what I realized over time. So you're right about definitely, like, when you compete, it's very easy to get sucked into them wanting to take things on top of that and go, well, everyone else is doing it, why wouldn't I take it? Let's start with like a mild thing. Let's start with Anavar. Maybe like a small test base with it. Before you know it, you're doing full on tren. Some people Deca, Winstrol. Yeah. Like, I know all these things because Adam talks to me. You know Adam, by the way?
Which Adam?
Adam
Mininsky.
Yeah, Adam.
Yeah, cool. So that's the Adam we're referring to. Like, super nice guy, but he's obviously tells me a lot about this stuff. Yeah.
It does, you escalate and you get more, you want more, right? Even if you perhaps you go back to like your guys, you do a lot more cardio-based activities. You know, if you start taking a pre-workout like a caffeine, you think, I feel a bit more effective in it. Maybe I escalate that to modafinil. Maybe I start using a few more nootropics because I can stay focused in my run for longer. I think more and more people just want more and more, right?
Yeah, and then meanwhile, when that's happening, they're not sleeping well, they're not looking after their diet, and they're thinking that the supplements are the thing they need to take.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, the more people you talk to, I mean, you guys talk to people in the gym, I'll talk to people on my lives. Yeah. The main questions I get are, what can I take to do this? Yeah. And my initial response is, shut the fuck up. I guarantee your food is shit. I guarantee your training is shit. Let's focus on that first. Because most supplements don't do fuck all anyway. So let's focus on the stuff that actually does something. Something tangible.
Yeah, so true. It's crazy the amount of same as you. So many conversations with people being like, I'm stressed. What can I take? I'm like, you're stressed because you're working a job late and you're not going to bed. Like what? Like it's so simple to solve, but we're looking for a plaster to go over it to kind of almost kind of just make us go, oh yeah, it's fine, I can take this and I'll be fine. Like the placebo effect is basically what it is at the end of the day. Because a lot of people just go online, they'll buy a supplement, but they don't actually know what it does or why they're taking or how to supplement it correctly. You know, like a lot of people talk about taking ashwagandha. Now, I've recently researched into ashwagandha a little bit more because I actually think ashwagandha, it does work to some degree, but a lot of people are taking it to enhance their testosterone. But it's only a moderate enhancer to testosterone, and personally, for me, when I was taking it, the side effects that I felt from it outweighed the benefits of it.
What were the side effects that you felt from it?
I had the emotionless side. Yeah. So it's weird because after 8 weeks or even longer than that, you just felt hollow. You felt like you'd almost taken antidepressants at that point in time. You know, it felt weird.
I had to dive into a rabbit hole to figure that out because I felt the same thing in ashwagandha, and I felt like, why do I feel numb? Like emotionally numb and like physically numb a little bit. And then when I researched into it, there's a lot of people that experience that with ashwagandha. And it helps with the stress side because obviously you feel less, but then you also feel less good emotion too, and it's actually a horrible drug in most cases. Sorry, not drug.
Supplement.
What would you call it? A herb.
Supplement herb.
Yeah. It's not a drug, is it? I don't know.
I find my clients that use it, there's two types of people who either enhance their sleep, well, it can enhance their sleep as long as everything else is in check, or it will have the cognitive suppression side. Yeah, and I find that they don't get both. It's either like one pathway or the other, and I think that's a lot down to just the individual, how it affects them. Just individuality.
If you could recommend one supplement then for any
creatine,
bang on straight away. Good.
Yeah.
I was actually gonna say ZMA.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I've jumped the gun.
If it pick one
for sleep.
Oh no, for everything, like just as a blanket fix, or not a multivitamin, obviously, because they're bullshit. But what would be your number one supplement? Just a good all rounder.
Creatine.
Yeah, I thought so.
Gold standard. Just because it is the most researched, it has the most validity to it. It's cheap, and it actually does something tangible. And I think what's really cool about creatine is it's now being used a lot more for the cognitive side. So they're using it to offset early onset dementia. It's great for improving cognitive performance when you've got shit sleep. So if you have poor sleep one night, you take creatine, you're gonna have a enhancement in performance the next day. So I think the cognitive benefits are gonna just go through the fucking roof. But
I don't know if it's because I take creatine for so long now that I don't feel any effects, but I don't feel like I get cognitive enhancement.
You'll probably feel it if you came off it.
Do you reckon that would be?
Yeah. I mean, it's all subjective. Like, there's obviously the placebo effect.
Because I've heard the same thing you said. Like, creatine's been shown to cognitively enhance aspects. So I agree with that. It's just I never really felt that. Don't know if that's just me.
When did you start taking it?
Probably about 3 months ago.
3 months ago.
Yeah.
Okay. So
I'll go on and off it like a few times, but I probably extend it out a bit longer.
Yeah.
Than the 8 weeks they say.
Is your sleep generally good? Generally good.
So I do the opposite of what I tell my clients to do. I will watch YouTube on a 55-inch 4K monitor until I switch it off, and I'll go, I fall straight asleep.
Yeah.
And then I wake up in the morning. It's weird.
I'm the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't use TikTok at bed. I'm just there YouTube. I'm like, fuck it, right, sleep.
Yeah, editing your videos for the next day.
Yeah.
I'm
I know you don't. I know you're more like on it.
I'm very ritual based though. I'm like I must be autistic in some way. I have my routine in the morning, I have my routine in the evening. If that goes out the window, I cry. It's just general between it. But it's the same. I did a video on creatine, and people get their dosage wrong on it, which is really interesting because on the back of any packaging, it's always like, oh, take like 1 scoop, which is like 5 grams. Well, that's useful for someone that's 50 kilos. Realistically, it should be 1 gram per 10 kilos.
Now.
Like they're 3 grams in the scoop.
Most supplements do 3 gram scoops now.
Useless.
Cheeky
3 gram
fucks.
scoops.
Yeah.
And they don't get me started on the fucking gummies. When you see so much of that shit being sold on TikTok and you realise you have to take 20 fucking gummies just to get one dose, it drives me up the fucking wall. But do you guys are on TikTok?
Yes.
Yeah. So you'll see these products, but because people know that they might get commission, everyone starts pushing these products for people. And I'm going to fucking name names. BioRevive is one of my arch nemesises. Because when they start selling like testosterone, and they start selling these testosterone boosters, and they say that, yeah, this is better than steroids, I'm like, motherfucker, what on earth are you talking about? Of course it's not better than steroids. Otherwise, no one would be taking steroids.
Yeah,
like, it's blind. They actually messaged me, and the main guy wanted me to endorse it and be on his videos with him. I'm like, you're off your nut. Have you seen any of my videos slagging you off? I couldn't believe it. And
they should get you to try it without the steroids and say and give you an honest review.
I'm not coming off steroids, mate.
But then you'll rinse them. Yeah.
Maybe honest, I'm never coming off steroids.
Sorted. But it's crazy. What's the new thing at the minute? There's a fat burner that keeps going around on TikTok, isn't it? Have you seen it? It's like extreme.
Same one.
But fucking people who are endorsing it don't have a clue what they're selling, and I hate it. It's like it's like total fat.
BioRevive.
Is it a BioRevive one?
Yeah.
That's what it is.
And they do a extreme.
Is it better than Clen? Is that what you're going to say?
Oh, it's 1,000% better than Clen. Yeah. And all the people that are selling it are fat as fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah. It looks like it's doing wonders for you.
Never trust the skinny chef.
Never trust the skinny chef.
Never trust the skinny chef.
It was that, and before that though, it was people talking about how greens are reducing bloating. Do you remember seeing those ads as well?
Apple cider vinegar.
Ugh.
But these people don't understand it. You go on their profile and they're like a fashion influencer, and you're just like, you cannot be serious. Like, TikTok's never going to change. They make a lot of money off people selling that. I get that completely. It's their business. They're doing it. But it's so ridiculous that then we have to come in and, I like to say, get a fucking huge mop and mop up all this shit that is going around.
There was a person that was 120 years old. They got interviewed and they said, "What's your diet like?" And it's like, "Oh, I smoke 20 cigarettes a day and have a wine every night." So it goes to show that, just because apple cider vinegar is marketing saying it's good for something doesn't mean that it necessarily is.
Yeah.
It might be maybe on like a 1% level, but we want big percentage changes.
Yeah.
We don't want small little things.
Yeah, there's outliers in everything, right? There's people that smoke 20 cigarettes a day. Yeah, they're lucky.
They are lucky.
Really fucking lucky.
Yeah.
On a whole, most people are going to get, not most people, people are going to get cancer more often than not. But I think people grasp onto those outliers and try and relate it to them to justify their own decisions or to validate their opinion. Someone might come up to me and they say, or they'll be on a live, I'll get grief, oh, you're a roid head, you're going to die of a heart attack next year. It's like, well, okay, there have been people that have died of heart attacks, but there's not that many, really, when you look at how many people take anabolic steroids. My mother-in-law, if she watches this, I'm really sorry, Sarah. But I will send her a clip of it, and she'll know what I mean. She was a community nurse, and she takes my blood for me. She's I wouldn't say she's supportive of my anabolic use, but she's accepting of it. And she'll throw in little anecdotal stories which are amazing for me to debunk. And she'll say like, "Oh, I went to this one guy. I went to him for years, and he had massive kidney disease, and he had liver disease, Craig, and he took steroids." She calls them steroids. Steroids. I'm like, fucking hell, Sarah. And he took steroids, and it's caused all this. I was like, all right. So that one patient that you've been to, who it probably wasn't caused by steroids, was probably alcoholic. How many people have you been to with diabetes because they're fat? How many people have you been to, they've lost their toes because of diabetes, or they've got heart disease, or they've got 99% of your patients. And then we've got that one person, and that automatically means that that's going to happen to everyone else. It's like, outliers.
That's crazy. Everyone focuses on the person trying to better themselves physically, but they don't care about the person that's actually diabetic. and is having this issue anyway.
Apologies for interrupting the podcast. We know you're getting fully engrossed into this episode, and we really appreciate you stopping on the video on YouTube or on Spotify if you found us through one of the search pages. Make sure to leave a review and a subscription if you haven't already. But we just wanted to interject a point here that me and Nick have 15 years of coaching experience between us, and it's only getting better as we've got better guests on the podcast. The only way we can do that, though, is with the growth of our program that we've just released. We've got a 12-month Perform Well program, which has just dropped, and we'd love you guys to get involved in it. If you want to learn more details, make sure to head to the description, as we've got our website in there, which can give you a full overlay of the program. We're looking to help career-driven professionals, entrepreneurs, small business owners, and anyone dominate their life by improving their lifestyle. Me and Nick like to claim ourselves as experts in this area, and if you want to check out some of our own other transformations, I'm sure you do. We've got some amazing people who have performed so well off the back of this program. Have a cracking day, and we really appreciate your time. Let's get back to the podcast.
Do you know how much, and I'm not sure on the exact figures, but I'm pretty certain on it. How much of the NHS budget do you think is spent, the entire NHS budget, on diabetes? Just that one. Diabetes type 2, I should clarify.
2%?
I think it's close to 50%, the last one I saw.
Really?
Oh.
I think so.
Wow.
Because most people are diabetic.
Yeah.
Not most. A huge percentage of people are diabetic. You have to give them the medication. You've got your diabetic nurses. You've got the medical conditions that are caused because of diabetes. You've got the toes that are being taken off, and the neuropathy of the nerve endings because of the diabetes, and then everything that's associated with it. I'm pretty sure whether it's obesity or type 2 diabetes, both go hand in hand anyway. It is a huge percentage of the NHS budget.
You do notice there is a correlation between obesity and type 2.
Yeah,
they're basically almost linked. And people that lose weight tend to lose type 2. Yeah.
It's a direct correlation. And whilst, yes, people who are obese can be healthier and not have these comorbidities, you have a fourfold increased risk of all-cause mortality if you're obese.
What about people like Eddie Hall, who has a lot of muscle on his frame, but he was obese as well at one point in his strongman? I don't know if you call him obese at that point. He was
by a BMI,
he was
yes,
super overweight.
But it's hard, isn't it?
But he was fat as well at the time of being a strongman.
The thing is, I'm technically classed as overweight. Just based on BMI. If we're going off BMI, a lot of people who go to the gym are overweight or obese.
Yeah.
But would you consider the symptoms that he has as obese symptoms? As like Margaret, who's 160 kilos of pure fat but doesn't move. Okay, I don't want to go in the conversation of who's healthier, a bodybuilder that's 5% and the same weight, or a strongman who's the same weight but bigger. I think that's a good debate, though. I think we can go into that.
What would you say is healthier? Because one's got definitely more fat on them because they're round and all that good stuff.
It's hard to say because they are different conditions, though, aren't they? Completely separate conditions. Because if you're comparing between somebody who's 5%,
pro here, man. This man knows.
I think extremities, like you go to the extremes in any field, you are going to become unhealthy. You look at marathon runners. Could you class them as healthy? I mean, cardiovascular wise, they are the pinnacle, but I wouldn't say they're healthy.
What, CrossFitters?
I mean, CrossFitters, bless them, they're nearly as bad as high roxers, aren't they?
They're the fittest in the world.
Yeah, they've got no joints, they've got broken backs, and they're all vegan. They all eat avocados.
Something
every day,
about
right?
CrossFitters and vegan go hand in hand. I don't know why.
Cultism, isn't it?
Is it? Yeah.
Cultism. It's like high rocks and wearing those stupid bags all the time. But this is the thing. Genuinely, any kind of performance-based sport is going to have a trade-off, isn't it? At the end of the day, no matter what you do, if you become an elite-level marathon runner, you're probably going to lose a lot of muscle mass.
Yeah.
Just based on things. I've lost a lot of muscle mass since doing triathlon training because my body goes, you don't need that. Why do you need that? You're not using that like how you normally would when you're training. Yeah. We'll take that. Let's go push on the heart. You keep cracking on with the heart. But I think this is arguably something that I personally do with clients. So I do like focus phases for Gen Pop because I think it's important that people build a kind of well-rounded approach. Now I know, Craig, you do some more specific training with your clients, don't you? It is more down the physique end of things to really push on their physique. Yeah. Would you say, for example, the cardio that prescribe them for cardio health as well, but the primary side of that is obviously to reduce body fat down. Would you say, though, these are still cardiovascular, like, what's the word, metabolically healthy individuals as soon as they're leaning down as much as they are?
Well, most of my clients are Gen Pop, but they are looking for that physique transformation. So, yes, I do have some physique competitors, which once you get on stage, you are not healthy at that point. You know, one of the biggest challenges as a coach is to get people out of that condition in a safe way, because you can't stay there. You know, very few people can stay that lean all year round. I definitely can't, as you can tell. So I think there's always got to be that sweet spot. And what I tend to do with my clients is we'll have 25% of the year at the extreme. So if they're doing a photo shoot, we have to accept that there will be a trade-off of health at that point, because they're going to be lower on food, activity is going to be through the roof. They may be taking special sports supplements if there are, you know, I have natural clients and assisted clients. So 25% of the year, we're going to be pushing it so they can achieve a goal. Then for another, perhaps 25% of the year, we're just going to chill. And we're just going to be at the status quo. And then for half of the year, we're going to be increasing muscle tissue. We'll go to the other end. So we're not going to be super lean. We're actually going to try and, you know, focus on developing that muscle tissue so we can get a better result next time. That's how I tend to work with my clients.
Okay, so this is actually a bodybuilding thing that we can dive into real quick, is the bulk and cut cycles.
Yeah. There
There are people in this world that swear by staying lean and bulking over time. What's your viewpoint on that?
They're always tinier.
Yeah. Yes.
They're always fucking tiny.
I agree. Yeah.
It's always the influencer, you know, that want to be look, and it's fine. Like if they want to just put on maybe a pound, 2 pounds of lean muscle over a year, fine. All power to them.
It's normally a broccoli head, vest, slides,
Pyjamas.
Oh, you got Crocs, haven't you? My bad. Sorry.
Wow.
Didn't realise.
Pyjamas and Crocs.
I like them. They're cool Crocs, man. Pyjamas and Crocs, broccoli head, vest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Normally under the age of 25.
Yeah. Vegan, CrossFitter. Probably not CrossFit actually under 25, because CrossFit's old now.
High rocks
now.
High rocks. Yeah. Matching shorts, matching vest.
Yeah.
Training for high rocks.
We train hybrid.
Lift heavy, run fast. You know those tops you see everywhere. That's what they wear.
Yeah.
But the interesting thing is again, look, I think I've done a bulking and cutting phase many times. Don't do it anymore.
Yeah.
Far from that now. But I understand exactly what you mean, because you'd be like bulking for almost like 16 weeks max. You'd be like, I've got a bit of fat on me. I need to cut again. So then you suddenly go into a cut, but then you lose 50% of the muscle mass that you've basically just put on because you don't cut properly. Yeah. You try to drop it so quickly so you get lean again. You go, I'm lean now. Oh, I've got to bulk again. I've lost some muscle, and you just repeat this cycle up and down.
I'm still a believer in the bulk and cut cycle. I'm just a little bit less extreme about it in my sense. Like, I don't do it the same way I used to, where I got up to 6,000 calories once, which was just pure stupidity. You know, because I was just getting fat. I got fat. Yeah. You know, fat for me is actually quite an achievement. It's very hard to do. I managed it, and I get all my clients to go through phases of bulking and cutting, but we kind of almost go over by 300 to 500 a day rather than maybe 800 to 1,000. I'm not sure what you recommend.
Exactly that. Yeah, because we do know that when you bulk and you do like the dirty bulk, or you go hard in the bulk, the more body fat you accumulate, the less healthy you're going to be. You know, you're going to increase your chance of insulin resistance. You're going to increase all cofactors, increase cholesterol. You're going to be causing stress on your body, and that can cause issues. So whilst there is the lean bulk where people want to stay shredded and then they just get fuck all results, you've got the dirty bulk where people put on a lot of muscle tissue, but they're also, again, at the extremes, and they're going to be putting their health at risk. I think there is that sweet spot where you're gaining perhaps up to 0.5% body weight per week. That's what I tend to work towards. But then that percentage increase will dictate how many calories they're on. So rather than a fixed 300, 500 calories, I'll look at the client's rate of progression and say, right, you're on 500 plus surplus now, you're gaining a bit too quick, let's just bring it back.
Do you find some of your clients find bulking harder than cutting?
Yeah, the first one especially. Yeah. The first bulk is a minefield of fuck-ups. Yeah. Just because people know about bulking. They know that if they want to look better, they need more muscle, but they've never really committed to it, like you said. So they're scared that they're going to not be able to lose the fat at the end of it because they've not got that validation from themselves. My first bulk, I was so scared. You know, I got six-pack for the first time in my life. And then I bulked. I was like, shit, I fucked it. Whereas then you get shredded again, but it was a bit easier because you've got more muscle tissue. I was like, oh, okay, cool. And then it was the transverse. I wanted to go even further the next time. So I'm 44 weeks into my bulk. I'm worried that I'm not going to have enough time when I finish at 72 weeks. I'm worried that I'm not going to be big enough and push my food enough. And I think there is a definite switch.
I think something that I've had, one of my clients came up to me and told me is that when they're cutting, they have like a definite goal. Like they know that when they get to a certain body fat percentage, they'll know when it's there because they'll see the body fat percentage. Bulking wise, there's almost like no end.
Yeah.
It's just like this elusive goal that just keeps going until you're satisfied, which you never will be.
Yeah. 100%. I'm literally there. Like, you will never be big enough. You know, I'm comparing myself to people, and I've had to take people off my social media because, you know, you compare yourself to them and you think, well, and social media.
The fact that you compare yourself to other people, and like I don't know how you see yourself, but you know, I sit across from you now, you look jacked.
I'm the most self-deprecating person you could ever imagine. Like, when people say that, I get incredibly awkward. You know, I went on holiday a few months ago, and I'm there with another family, my family, and people coming up to me. I'm like, why the fuck are these people coming up to me and like asking me why I train? I'm tiny and fat, and like it's awkward. I'm trying to do better with it because I don't want to make other people feel awkward or feel like I don't appreciate their comments. And I've tried to a lot of like kind of sounds so fucking wishy-washy, but self-learning on how to deal with that a little bit better.
Self-love.
Yeah, I'm trying to love myself a little bit more rather than just my right hand every morning.
Yeah,
you know?
No, that's fair. I think that's fair. But this is the interesting thing with this side of things too, because I similarly I did a little post on my own transformation. I was talking about how when I was bulking, I actually used bulking as a disguise for comfort eating. And it sounds really deep, but it is sometimes the case when people are like, I'm going on a bulk. I'm like, no, you're just using an excuse to eat shit food. And like, be like, oh, I had a Mackie, so I'm gaining muscle. I'm like, no, you're probably just, you know, getting a bit of cholesterol up there, mate. But I use that. And then for me personally, I kind of hit a switch where I was like, if I keep doing this, I will get to the mindset of I will never be big enough. I need to get bigger. I need to keep getting bigger. And there was guys in like Pure Gym, for example, when Tommy joined, I don't know if you know Tommy Galpin at all, really strong powerlifter, like amazingly strong guy, 2 years younger than I was, but bigger than me. And I was like, I can't be having this. My ego was like, I can't be having this. He can't be bigger than me. He's younger than me. Can't have that. So I kept going to get bigger. But then I just turned around and went, why am I doing this? I'm not going on stage to compete in bodybuilding comps. I'm not going to be going out to be the strongest person at a powerlifting meet. Why am I doing this to myself? I can't physically run anymore, for me personally anyway, or had the athletic ability I used to have. And I was like, oh no, Dan, just train for performance, go and do something for yourself. Like, that's why I do triathlons now.
That's what you should do. I think it's like, I don't know if you've done therapy before. You've ever been? Yeah. Okay, so I've done myself. I think maybe you have.
I have, yeah.
I was taught about your inner child. Like, there's this traumatic thing that you had as a child that it might be super minor in terms of how you think about it, but it could have such a, you know, traumatic event or impacts now. And it's like learning to love that self of you again in a way that is like, it's really hard to describe this because I don't normally say it out loud. I normally think this, but it's like you're almost like comforting your inner child as if you're now the parent that you wish you had. And that can often get rid of that ego need to try and satisfy, trying to be better than other people. You can still compete in your own way, obviously, but you don't have that thing like, oh, well, this guy's bigger than me, maybe I need to do this and this and this.
I think that comes down to self-confidence as well, doesn't it? You know, I imagine we've all been bullied at school. I was the fat kid. You know, I was the fat kid in school. I was not popular with the girls. And why do most people want to get bigger and get jacked? They want the girls, right? And there was a point when I was a kid where I got lean because I started playing basketball. I got leaner. I developed some self-confidence. And then I find you go through these kind of undulations of confident periods, self-loathing periods, you know, and then you're always doing this, right? And I think, one, as you get older, you kind of grow into yourself a little bit. When you get kids, your focus becomes less about you and more about the people around you. And just life experience. The more life experience you have, you figure out that the bits that you were worried about when you was a kid or a teenager, actually they're so insignificant now. So you kind of grow into that a little bit, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was listening to a podcast earlier. It was one of the Diary CEO with Joe Dispenza on it, and Joe Dispenza spoke a lot
He's a
about.
cool guy, by the way.
He is amazing, great conversation. I'm not finished with it. I need to still keep going with it. But Joe Dispenza basically said your personality determines your personal reality, and like how you behave and act within your environment basically helps the environment react around you. So like when people are, for example, in really dark places or going deep into a bulk for external reasons, everything around you will also darken, and you won't see that kind of positive side or flip side of things. You're only going to ever think in your head. Look, we probably know a lot of people have body dysmorphia. Body dysmorphia is probably, I'd argue, one of probably most chronic mental illnesses in the industry, but people don't talk about it enough because it's kind of like a double-edged sword. You have it and you don't feel like you can talk about it because you don't want other people to know that you suffer from feeling too little or too small. Because the whole point of you doing this is to feel bigger, to make yourself feel more confident in front of other people. So we don't have conversations.
Sometimes I'm jealous of people that aren't in the fitness industry. They might have a little bit of fat. They might work at an office, but they're comfortable how they look. Sometimes I'm a bit jealous by them because I'm like, I wish I had that. I wish I felt comfortable with how I looked.
Yeah.
Sometimes I don't like the way that I sometimes like my posture is because I'm 6'4". Sometimes I don't like the way my arms look on a certain day. You know, it's a constant battle to try and like balance how I look. And it's like, I wish I had your just ease of confidence.
Yeah.
It's
I've got a
incredible.
friend, he will not mind me telling you, but he's back home and he's my guy that I go to when I want to party.
Yeah.
When I want to party, I'll go to him because, you know, he likes to go into the gym now and again. He'll go through phases where he's like, all right, I'm going to get fit.
Yeah.
You know he'll stick to it for maybe like 3 or 4 weeks. But he's guaranteed, if you tell him you want to go out for a beer, you're going to go for a beer. And whilst he does want to look better, you know, he's very comfortable in his life. You know, he's got his kids, he's got his wife. You know, he's comfortable. You know, so he'll go on holiday and he's happy with the gut out and all the rest of it. He's happy that he doesn't have any arms, you know, he's got like very skinny limbs. And yeah, I think you're right. I do envy him sometimes, but then I think, but would I change what I'm doing now?
Yeah.
And the answer is always no. I want to be the guy that people come up to, even though I hate it. I want to be the guy that people come up to and recognise that I'm bigger than some people.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So
Great.
Whenever I think that, I always have to say, well, hang on, would you change it for that?
I would never change it. But you know the age-old question about how when you try to get big, you think that girls are going to come up to you in the gym and go, oh my God, you're so big.
Yeah.
But it's just other dudes.
Yeah.
Other
How do you
dudes.
get
Other dudes.
How do you get so big? Tell me.
Yeah. I thought when I was a kid, I thought, oh yeah, girls coming up to me, and then lo and behold, like 3 months ago, I had a guy in Southampton who is apparently renowned for this, message me, wanting me to stand on his chest for money.
Wow.
You said yes, obviously.
My instant reaction was, how much?
Yeah.
Because everyone's got a fucking price, right?
Where am I meeting you tonight?
Yeah. And then my second reaction was, am I going to kill this guy? Because he looks very skinny.
Yeah.
So we left the conversation there. And needless to say, I didn't step on his, on his chest. But
There are some people in this world, man.
always the guys.
Well, it's crazy because this podcast, you say interesting fetishes of people. This podcast blew up from where it was because people like feet.
Well,
We haven't
yeah.
told you about this, have we?
Go for it.
So when this podcast, and the guys, some of these guys will be watching right now, and they'll know exactly who we're chatting to here.
Yeah.
So we were added to a playlist. What was it? It was
men on sofas wearing socks,
in podcasts,
which we're doing right now.
which you're doing right now.
Wow.
By the way,
And-
yours are going to get zoomed into.
There, mate, you're gonna have a great time.
Yeah.
Got some
Uh,
nice socks, man.
Do I get, like, royalties for this?
100%,
or-
man.
We
When
should be able
for
to.
this episode, 100%.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want a niche, I've got hobbit feet. Like, there's going to be some
I'll tell you
guys
what, if anyone wants to buy his socks,
very expensive.
Tap them up.
yeah, tap them up.
And
But-
if you want me to do cardio beforehand in them, that's very, very
People will be
expensive as
people complimented your Calvin Klein socks on the last podcast we've had. I don't know if you if you go on YouTube, someone said nice Calvin Kleins.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I've got a client.
Didn't
I mean,
realise.
OnlyFans is absolutely like huge at the minute.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I've got a client who she has very good calves,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
and her OnlyFans is just calves.
No
And
way.
she makes a fucking killing.
Damn.
Just of pictures of her in like heels, but it's literally just knee down.
They've
What the
niched OnlyFans to that so far. Damn. I mean, I know OnlyFans is like niched in a lot of different areas, but I didn't think calves would be one.
Calves, mate.
I'm jealous about people's calves as well. How are your calves doing, mate?
Doing all right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
some,
alright.
yeah, some
just some
density
calves
there.
on, man.
Just the spindly arms that need
Mine
to
look
work
good
on.
from this angle. just not from the angle when they're like actually vertical.
It's all about angles, guys.
It is all
all
about
angles,
angles. Shall I grab the wheel?
Yeah.
Okay, so for this one, Craig, I'm going to have to get up some photos because there might be some people that you don't know. We're going to go for a fun natty or not because, you know, I feel like we've had a lot of conversations around this today.
We do a lot of overrated, underrated today.
It's natty or not.
Be good to be different.
Yeah, we'll go for it. There are people on here that I think clear as day. We can kind of compare between
Is
them.
Liver King on here?
He hasn't, but you can add him on there. You can put him into a different category. So, yeah, we're going for natty or not. Craig, would you like to spin the wheel to start with? Should be fine. It's working.
Such a weak.
I was expecting the wheel to come on.
God.
Ryan Terry. Do you know who Ryan Terry is?
Ryan Terry is 100% not natty because he's the best men's physique competitor on the planet.
And he's said he's on steroids as well, hasn't he? Publicly said it as well.
What do you think he's on?
I mean, look, it's hard because he doesn't look like he's on a huge amount because he doesn't. I don't think Ryan Terry looks like he should be the best on the planet, even though he looks phenomenal and he is the best.
He's bigger
on
than
the
people
planet.
think.
He is bigger than.
He's massive.
Yeah. I just think that dude is in shape all year round.
Yeah.
I don't know how he does it. Honestly. I think he's on more gear than what you think.
Because he just does physique, doesn't he? That's all he's ever done. He hasn't done classic or anything, but he did toy with the idea of doing classic at one point, I think.
Yeah.
I followed him for years, to be honest.
He's a great guy.
Yeah.
I met him at his gym in Retford, because I used to live around that area, and he's a great guy. He'll talk to everyone.
He's Leicester, right?
Nottingham. Like Retford, which is
okay.
in between Sheffield and Nottingham.
Got it. Okay.
All right.
Did you spin that because I did such a poor job last time?
He wanted to give it a bit more of a go.
I've done this a few times now.
Yeah.
Matt does
It's
fitness.
It's a bit stuck.
Matt does fitness.
Matt does fitness. You know what? This is a fucking hard one.
I want to say he's on roids, but just only because I'm jealous of how good he looks, and he says he's not. I don't know.
My opinion, in most of these, I'm probably going to say, yeah, they're on roids. I just think, I think he's on roids. I think he's on roids, or at the... Yeah, I think he's on roids. I think he's not on a lot of roids, but I think he's like got the genetics, plus is on a little bit of something.
Because his physique is... And his brothers, though. His brothers... Have you seen his brother?
I've not seen
his brother. Looks almost like identical to Matt's physique.
Right.
Just identical.
Maybe he's on like a high dose of TRT, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe he's on that mode. Who knows?
I think a lot of these influencers are going to go on TRT and their physiques just won't change.
They'll just stay the same.
They'll just stay the same. Oh, I wonder what he was doing before.
But it's like James Smith hasn't changed much. Like, I know he's on TRT, but he's gone back.
Yeah,
he's gone back to his physique that when he was younger, wasn't he? That's basically what he's done.
He does look bigger, but he's not training for bodybuilding, so he hasn't got. He's not like developing quickly in that realm.
Yeah.
Jiu-jitsu guy, isn't he? You can tell, but the face shape, the shoulders just looks
Not a fan of
thicker.
James Smith.
It's really old.
Not a fan of that guy.
Talk about that in a second.
Right, I'm going to get a photo. Do you know who Alex Eubank is? I think we were chatting a little bit about him.
No.
I will get Alex Eubank up for you so you can have a look. Alex is...
What's wrong with James, by the way?
So I find with James, he ridicules people. So he ridiculed steroid users for a long time. He took steroids and he feels like his poor experience with steroids makes him... He can have his opinion, absolutely. Yeah. But I think he talks from a place of minimal experience and minimal knowledge.
Yeah, and he's got a following, and I think that will inflate someone's heads to some degree as well.
But he also said he made the decision, and this is interesting because I watched it on a YouTube video. He made the decision. There's two ways you can go as a coach. You can get a better coach or become a better marketer. You can go one of two ways, and he went the marketing route. Yeah. So a lot of his stuff is just for sales and clicks and views. He doesn't have the education, arguably, behind him that people believe he has, but he's good at selling it.
Yeah, but he did work in sales before he became a PT as well.
Yeah.
So he has that skill set behind him.
Look, he's a fucking 10 millionaire, fucking billionaire, whatever. We can't fucking say anything, right?
No.
We'll just say, mate, look at my bank balance.
That's Alex Eubank.
Let me see it after, because I remind myself.
He looks like a fucking superhero, doesn't he?
Yeah, that's Alex Eubank.
His chest, man.
You know what? And I think... I don't know if they can see that.
Louis will pull something up.
Look, I think it's hard on social media, right? Because I bet in person he looks very insignificant. Based off how he looks there, I bet you look at him on a beach and think, yeah, he's in good nick. But if you put him next to a competitor...
You know what he looks like? He looks like an Anavar user.
Yeah, I'd say... I would say he's more likely to be natty.
Okay.
Just because I don't think in person he'd look that good. I bet he's... Does it say how much he's weigh? he weighs?
Fuck knows.
I bet he's like a 60 kilo little runt.
He is
He's probably going to be like 110, 6'4".
4 years natural transformation. There you go.
So
Chest is genetic, you can tell.
yeah, looking at that, I'd say he's more likely to be, because people always look bigger when they're shredded.
To be fair, his legs aren't that impressive.
Yeah.
So
I think it's Natty. Yeah, I'm going for it.
Fair enough. Cool. Yeah, a lot
Alex
of people,
is natty.
Alex is natty. A lot of people question that
I'm
one.
going to say this because you look at some of the Natty guys competing, those guys are ginormous, some of them. So
It's possible with really fucking solid genetics, but that's like the 1% gang. Like, it's like an amazing sprinter. They get into the sport because they're good at it.
Yeah.
You know, people go into bodybuilding because they look the part already.
you're a basketball player because you're really tall.
Exactly. Yeah. It's what they call it. It's called the swimmer's body illusion, I
Do you want
believe.
to make up for your last spin?
Go on. That's better. Chris Bumstead.
Chris, he's an anabolic user, and I think Chris Bumstead is he's in that same category of people where, because he's got so much money in endorsements, Gymshark and all the rest of it, he massively downplays how much he's on. I think Chris Bumstead's on a huge amount of gear and has taken everything, but says that he only takes a little bit.
Didn't he do a post recently about, what was it? Did you see it went viral? He started talking about fasting in the morning, saying how he doesn't have carbs in the morning as like an elite level bodybuilder.
Yeah.
I was like, there's no fucking way you don't have carbohydrates.
Well, he has a lot of issues with digestion
Does
as well.
he?
You said in the morning, or do you mean
In the
whole
morning,
day?
specifically in the morning.
Okay.
Yeah, he nearly quit bodybuilding because his digestion was that shit.
Really?
So he had some issue with it. So he's gone on a very specific diet now, just to help with that digestion. So it wouldn't surprise me. I mean, I did see that post. I was like, oh, that's not entirely accurate.
No.
But, hey.
Why do we put him on natty or not?
Because I did. Because it sparks a
It's
debate.
supposed to be-
We know
Where's
he's
Ronnie
not natural.
Coleman? Ronnie Coleman,
Did I put
Ronnie
I
Coleman.
think I did put Ronnie on there.
Who's that?
Greg Wallace.
Who's Greg Wallace?
Greg Wallace, the guy off MasterChef, who's now an online coach.
What?
Huh?
Yeah, have you not seen this?
Oh, I have seen it. Oh, yeah.
No, you're going to know him immediately. I
Greg
love this.
Wallace.
Greg Wallace?
Greg Wallace.
I didn't know he was online. I know he's talking about intermittent fasting and talking a load of bollocks.
That guy.
No way is he.
He's an online coach now.
Well, he's got sacked, hasn't he? 'Cause
Yeah.
he was touching people up on set and whatever.
I mean,
He charges £200 for his online
Natty.
coaching, doesn't he?
Natty.
That is standard.
Natty.
Standard
Yeah,
shit.
there you go. 1-to-1 online coaching, £200 a month.
that's a natty bill, bro.
Well, of course it is.
He just likes food.
I
think-
put one there because it's just debating.
Imagine he's on trend.
Oh my
No,
god!
actually,
With a blown neck.
he might be on TRT.
I think probably is on TRT, but I know he lost a lot of weight, didn't he? And he talks a lot about nutrition, and I think isn't it a sad state of affairs? He used to be one of my favourite guys to watch on TV, and you've gone from being one of the best celebrities presenters on TV to now I've got to charge £200 a month for online coaching.
Yeah, I know.
That's a bit awkward, isn't it?
I'm not going to spin this one because it's not on there, but Gregor Gallagher, Kino Body. Do you know what that is?
I do know. Yeah, what's that diet that he spins?
Intermittent fasting.
Yeah, keto.
Yeah. He's actually about lean bulking, like lifting heavy 3 days a week, intermittent fasting.
Oh well, firstly, intermittent fasting is biggest load of shit I've ever heard in my life. I think it's Natty.
I think it's very achievable.
I think it could be Natty.
He went on more plates, more dates,
Yeah,
and did
I
a
did
whole
see
blood
that.
work, and it proved he was natural.
Yeah, I think it could be Natty.
And that Derek guy is.
I mean, you see that
on point.
video, and I'd argue,
Yeah.
it just looks like a normal lean physique to me.
These people that look shredded, they look
Yeah.
massive. I bet they're not that big in general.
No.
Do you know what? This is a good point. Being leaner makes you look bigger.
Yeah,
Not in shirts, but when you take the shirt off.
yeah,
Yeah, I always feel small when I'm lean and I've got a shirt on.
Yeah.
But I take it off, I feel like fucking Superman. I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
When I was on the show, I look at the photos between now and bear in mind I'm like 25 kilos heavier now.
Yeah.
I look so much smaller. I look huge.
Mm.
But same with like the bikini girls, and I think it's more with the bikini girls. You see them on the bikini shots, they look massive.
Yeah.
Not massive, that's the wrong thing. They look jacked.
Yeah.
Big glutes, big legs, shoulders. You see them in person, and Jesus Christ,
Little.
they are so tiny.
Mm-hmm.
You go to a bodybuilding show, they're tiny.
Well, we said we had Amy on it, didn't we? And Amy, Amy Richardson,
Yeah.
she did physique, wasn't it? Was
Yeah.
it physique?
Figure.
Figure.
Yeah.
She did figure. But even she said, when I saw her in the gym, I was like, Amy's lost so much. Like, she looks small, bless her.
Yeah.
But look jacked. Yeah, this is the
Yeah.
thing. She looked physically smaller than she was, but that's always the way, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right, do you want to go again? We'll go for... One more round. Eddie Abu.
He was avoiding.
God. So me and Eddie have had some back and forths.
I think I put him on there because I have seen your content with him.
Eddie Abu, yeah, he's still on gear, isn't he?
Yeah.
You know? And he's one of the biggest charlatans on social media.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know what your guys' opinion about.
Oh, no, same.
I'll always say 80% of what he talks about is fucking lovely.
Mm-hmm.
Let's eat unprocessed foods, brilliant. Let's do this, let's do that. He now promotes not using anabolic steroids. Good. We don't want people using anabolic steroids. But 20% of what he says just overshadows all of it.
Yeah.
And I think, what the fuck are you talking about? You know? And it is just lies because he knows better. So
My
Eddie
instinct is to say, my instinct on him is I just don't quite like him and what he and the way he approaches it. And also, like, it's a bit hypocritical as well to do what he's done in the past with his body and then say that, oh, you shouldn't be doing it. And it's like a bit hypocritical. Like, address it at least. Say, oh, I did do that. I'm sorry, I was wrong. Doesn't do that.
There's a big thing on
Doesn't do
protein
that.
powders, wasn't it? He had a real slander of protein powders, and he had them in his fucking gym.
his gym, energy drinks in his gym, and allegedly, I don't know if this is accurate, so, you know, allegedly he works for people and he pushes steroids onto them a lot.
Wow.
Allegedly. I may have spoken to one of these individuals. So
Okay.
What, the Liver King, £11,000 a month on growth hormone.
it would not surprise
Natural.
me. Jesus. I mean, that guy is all fucked up now, isn't he?
Yeah, he
Yeah,
is.
all
he's
fucked
really
up
messed
now.
up. Actually, that's a good point. Joe Rogan, Natty or not.
Oh, he's on TRT, isn't he?
Is it?
Yeah, he was one of the first people to like popularise TRT.
Yeah.
On his show. So yeah, what do you class as natural?
Good point.
What do you class as natural? Yeah, no,
Good point.
Joe Rogan takes testosterone for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, he gets all of he puts.
Well, he's
all of it.
assisted right now, that's for sure. He's assisted. Whether it's enhanced is a different story.
I mean, he's in good nick, isn't he?
Yeah.
I'd say
yeah.
Joe Rogan probably takes a little bit more than TRT. A little bit, maybe.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you look at the size of his fucking neck, and Jesus Christ.
You can see it.
Yeah,
He's got that human growth hormone belly shape, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Which that Theo Von guy who was on his
Yeah.
podcast said he's like one of those chickens that have the string wrapped around them. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Just a structurally built man.
I'm going to do one more, and then we will... Thorn Bjornsson.
Oh my god! I mean, I don't think they can keep up with his steroid use, can they? I
No.
don't think they can.
How much do you think he has? Because he's like 6 foot... What is he? 6'7" or something like
Yeah.
that?
He's big, well, yeah.
But
He's a
so how
big
much would
boy.
he have to have?
just so you know, Eddie Hall's 6'4", right?
6'4".
Really?
I'm 6'4". So Eddie's as tall as me,
But
then he looks tiny when you see him on video.
next to Thor.
Thor is
Thor must be
massive.
on so much to
Yeah.
get to the size he is.
Yeah. I mean, God, you can't even put a number on it.
No.
You know, what? 4 grams of testosterone plus 20 IUs of growth hormone plus.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the main reasons why Eddie Hall stopped bodybuilding was because he was taking that much gear. They said, look, you carry on, you're going to die. And he said, look, I'm going to win this year. I mean, I think he talks, not steroids, but he talks about it on his documentary.
He had a stroke.
Did he really? I
Yeah,
didn't even know that.
that's why he's got a little bit of a slurred speech.
I
I
mean-
thought it was just his native language, his accent, but apparently it's because
What,
he's
Stoke?
the native land of Stoke.
yeah. Well, he's not from Stoke, is he?
I think he is.
What for?
No.
No.
Oh, he's got Eddie still.
Eddie,
I thought
yeah.
he was got 4. Sorry.
Oh no, yeah.
Well, that is native, yeah. I thought you meant the native.
Because 4 is from what? Norway. Isn't
Iceland.
it?
Iceland, yeah. But he's a big
I
man.
thought it was about 4, mate. My bad.
I dread to think it must be pinning down like 7 rhinos at the same time if he's ever taken anything. Have you seen how short his missus is as well?
She's tiny. I mean, that is how that anatomically works. I don't know.
No, neither do I.
That's like a Chihuahua and a
Rotti.
Great Dane.
Yeah, Great Dane.
Yeah, a Rottie, something like that.
That is.
I've seen the
yeah.
videos because I think she's only 5'2" or something, isn't she?
She's a brave girl.
Yeah, fucking
She's a
tell me about it.
brave
It's like
girl.
a wizard's sleeve. It must
Let me
be.
on top. It's like, no, thank you.
Yeah,
Not happening.
Get down again.
I have seen the videos because I think they all just genuinely went viral because of that. As soon as they saw
Have
her.
you seen how he changed for this? So, like, Thor was always in great shape. Like, he was 6-pack, wasn't he? You know, the mountain, you know, great shape, modelled and all the rest of it. You know, for Giacomo, but still modelled.
Yeah.
And now he's just like blown in the face. So he's competition Thor now.
Yeah.
And he just doesn't look healthy, even compared to when he did the 501 deadlift.
Yeah.
You know, he still looked better there, whereas now he's a big boy.
Take him to the NHS and they'll say his BMI's too high. He has to lose weight.
I would, if you gave me someone that's morbidly obese and I'd say Thor was way more unhealthy. Just because, Jesus.
Which is crazy when you think about it, because there's going to be kids online who sit and look at him and go, fuck me, he's strong, and they'll think of that. That's it. They won't even think the deeper levels to all this. And I think actually, as a podcast goes, it's been really good, and hopefully it opens a couple of people's eyes to it as well, because a lot of people don't talk about this on podcasts. They just talk about, oh man, you got so jacked. I'm like, yeah, I got so jacked, blah, blah, blah. And then you just start bigging that side up, but don't talk about the dark side of it, which is really important. Well, I think we'll wrap up there. We appreciate you coming on, mate. So the last bit we do is we kind of plug our guests, so then people can go find more information about yourself. So plug away, let people know where they can find more about you.
Any social media. So if you just search Apex Fitness Coaching, it's generally the first one that comes up. So TikTok's a great place for just... how do I word it? If you want the more abrasive version, then TikTok is the place to go. And any kind of coaching inquiries or the more professional side of things, then you can find me on Instagram.
Lovely. Thank you very much. Awesome, guys. Well, appreciate you stopping on here. Make sure to like, follow, subscribe. And if you haven't shared it yet, make sure to share it all around, because if it goes to at least one new person, then hopefully we can help them out. We'll catch you guys later.